On behalf of the people.
Thank you, Mark East on behalf of people.
David Williams on behalf of the people.
Paulette Michelle Lawson on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Amy Hop on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Deborah H. McKelvey on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. You all may be seated. With that being said, we're going to continue the Miller hearing this morning. Before we get started, are there any preliminary issues that we need to address?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, at this time, understanding your previous ruling and protecting the record, we're moving to strike the testimony of Ms. Darnell. We're also renewing our motion to exclude the testimony of the students in this case. At this point, we are at a Miller hearing. We are post adjudication of guilt or innocence. At a Miller hearing, the focus is on Mr. Crumbley and 5 factors: his chronological age and the hallmark features of that age, his family and home environment, the circumstances of the homicide offense, and the effect of familial and peer pressures. And in reviewing the case law, what that means, Your Honor, is this a solo offender situation? Is it a multiple offender situation? If it's a multiple offender situation, what role did this particular defendant have in that? Obviously, that's not the case in this particular instance. But the other part of that is what effect on this event did Mr. Crumbley's adult, familial, and peers have on this offense? The incompetence associated with his youth and the possibility of rehabilitation. Yesterday, the testimony from Ms. Darnell got into things like how that she communicated with her family, whether she had any regrets about how she communicated with her family, how she was feeling, and things of that nature, which is clearly inappropriate for a Miller hearing. It is appropriate, and our legislature has provided in 769.25 subparagraph 8 that testimony, that information is appropriate for the sentencing. We are not here at this point for sentencing. That's a future event. And absolutely all of that testimony and the testimony of the students is relevant at that, for that victim impact. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we all have a job to do. We tailored our questions to what information, if any, they had, these students and Ms. Darnell and any other school related person has relative to these 5 factors. Some of those questions are going to be answered no. Unfortunately, some of those questions are going to evoke some emotion, and that's the nature of this case. But setting all of that aside, if the testimony is not directed to those 5 factors, it is not appropriate to be presented in this hearing and is inadmissible. And for those reasons, we'd ask that her testimony be stricken. She can absolutely come in at sentencing and make all of those comments, as well as the students.
Thank you, Ms. Hop. People, your response.
Okay. Your Honor, both myself and my office are well aware of what a Miller hearing is. We conduct them frequently. We accept our higher standard, and we accept and believe we should follow the law. Part of the Miller hearing, we know from Taylor now, is not just about the 5 factors. It comes under the umbrella of it has to be proportional. The defendant in this case and how he committed this crime and the circumstances around it are highly relevant. The defendant himself expressly wanted to inflict pain and suffering on his victims. And so the testimony is squarely part of this case, and it is absolutely appropriate. I want to say a few things about what happened yesterday. First of all, this is not a jury trial. Your Honor is the trier of fact. And if there is evidence elicited about somebody's suffering or trauma that you don't think expressly relates to a Miller hearing, or whether or not it's part of fashioning an individualized sentence, Your Honor can disregard that and has told us both in his written orders and in chambers just now that that's exactly what you're going to do appropriately. So that's one thing. The second thing is the defendant's actions and what he stated he wanted to do and how he did it are why we are here. The fact that counsel somehow believes that our only obligation and duty here is to just state that he killed 4 kids and injured 7 others is preposterous. He executed students at point blank range. He wrote about how he was going to do it. The circumstances around how he carried out that crime and his behavior and his demeanor and his interactions with these students are at the core, not only of this hearing, but at the core of why I made the decision. I'm the elected, I'm standing here, and there's a reason, because I believe juveniles should be treated like juveniles. I also believe there are rare exceptions. And this is one, and I believe that, and I will stand by that. But the reason I made that decision together with my team is solely based on these horrific details in the way this crime was committed. And so to say that we shouldn't somehow say it, we shouldn't somehow allow people to take the stand and tell the truth is offensive. It's offensive and it's unconscionable. And I want to say one other thing. We understand this isn't a victim impact statement. We understand that. We have told every single person that we've interviewed about testifying, listen, you're not here to talk about how this impacted you going further, which, by the way, is a really tough thing to do. It's a really tough thing to do, to put somebody on the stand who until this moment didn't even want to be on this campus, knowing that the defendant was sitting over there in jail. The sheer presence in the room with him is traumatic. It's a tough thing to then say, don't talk to me about your pain. It's absolutely relevant in the context of the interactions that each of these people had with the shooter. I am about to call 2 students. They are minors. I will not do that. If the court is going to allow counsel to stand up and badger repeatedly people who have been through trauma and ask them about facts that they have stated already on the record they don't know. I will say right now, the 2 students I'm calling, they don't know. They do not know about the defendant's background. They do not know about what the Miller factors are. They don't. I don't discuss the Miller factors with them. They do not come in here with a message of vengeance. They did not sign up to do it. And furthermore, they do not waive their right under the Crime Victim Rights Act to, and I quote, the right to be treated with fairness and respect for their dignity and privacy throughout the criminal justice process. And I don't know what anyone else in this room thinks about yesterday, but you can't call that treating a victim with dignity and respect when she's shaking and she's repeatedly said, I don't know about Miller factors. I don't know about this defendant, and I don't want to. We'll follow the law and we're going to do the right thing. But I am not putting students on the stand to be re-traumatized for no reason whatsoever. So I would ask that you instruct counsel to act professionally. And when a question is asked about something and a witness says, and a victim says, I don't know, to not repeatedly ask and argue. It's not appropriate. And I have stood here, and I have sat there, and I have sat there. And that is not how we should conduct ourselves.
Thank you. With that being said, I'll start with counsel's last statements. As I indicated yesterday, I did continue to sustain the people's objection as Ms. Hop continued to line of questioning as related to Ms. Darnell. And so I did sustain that objection, as I indicated to counsel several times, to move on from that line of questioning, as that witness had indicated that she had no information as relates personally as it relates to this defendant before the court. She had not met him before. She had not met him in the lunchroom because that line of questioning had come up. And so the court had indicated at that time to counsel, please move on from that line of questioning. And I indicated again that the court is sitting as the trier of fact. This is not a jury trial for both sides. This is a Miller hearing, as both sides have told the court. The court, again, is sitting as the trier of fact. And so I'm able to discern what's relevant to the Miller factors and what's not relevant to the Miller factors. And so I've been listening very closely to the testimony. I've been listening very closely to the arguments of counsel. I've been taking notes, and I've been paying attention to the witnesses on the stand. And so, again, I'm able to sparse out what's relevant to the Miller factors and what's not relevant. So first, as relates to defendant's motion to strike the testimony of Ms. Darnell, again, I'm denying that request. The court will place the appropriate weight on her testimony as it relates to the Miller factors. And again, the court will take the Miller factors, and then I will take the facts of this and figure out which of the facts from this case supports the Miller factors. And so that's the appropriate thing to do. And I've advised counsel multiple times through a written opinion order, as the people pointed out, also in chambers. And so I believe both sides are aware of what this court expects moving forward. And I don't expect any witness to be put on the stand and badgered by either side. And so I expect for all of us to treat everyone that comes in this court with professionalism and dignity, as everyone should be treated in this court. Next, as it relates to the two minors testifying, again, the court does not know what these minors will testify to. And so I cannot exclude testimony that I don't know what the witnesses will testify to. These witnesses may very well add facts that are relevant to the Miller factors, or they may very well add no facts that are relevant to the Miller factors. I don't know, because I don't know what they're going to say. And again, I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to listen to them very closely, as I've done with other witnesses. And those things that support the Miller factors, I will take into consideration. Those things that don't support the Miller factors, again, I'm the trier of fact, and I will exclude those. With that being said, the motion to strike the two additional witnesses is respectfully denied. Again, let's treat each other with respect. Let's get this hearing done today, hopefully, because again, as I indicated to counsel, I would like this done today instead of going into next Tuesday. So please, let's use our time wisely. Again, the court has made this ruling, and I've made this record multiple times. And so I don't expect to have to revisit this issue on either side. And so please abide by the rulings of the court, so I don't have to make this ruling again. With that being said, anything else we need to address before the people recall their witness that defense did not have a opportunity to cross-examine?
Not from people, Judge. Thank you.
Nothing from the funds. Thank you.
Thank you. People, you may recall your witness. I'm sorry, I'm looking for his name.
Detective Edward Rogowski.
Thank you, sir. You may approach the witness stand. You may also be seated in the witness box, sir. And sir, you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Defense, your witness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Can you state your name again for the record?
Edward Rogowski.
All right. I want to go over some of the things that were found first on Ethan's phone, okay? You were able to look at the internet search history for a few months prior to November 30th, correct?
Correct.
All right. And if you can look at Exhibit B. You would agree with me that a website that was visited daily was Live Gore, correct? Or almost daily, I should say.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you aware the contents of that website are extremely graphic?
Yes, ma'am.
It's a website that actual footage of crimes, murders, and assaults are posted, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to draw your attention next to Exhibit A.
Okay.
And I want to talk about some of the Google searches that were done by Mr. Crumbley. I'm looking specifically at page 19. November 29th, 21 at 8:48 PM. So about an hour before he made that video that we were shown yesterday. You would agree with me that he looks up, should you do something that can imprison you?
Yes,
At 8:47, should you do something that scares you?
yes, he did.
All right, I want to draw your attention to page 183. Specifically November 24th, 2021 at 11:51 PM. What happens if you have depression and anxiety? Would you agree with me? That's what he typed in?
Yes, ma'am.
That same day at 8:41 PM, he Googled, what is mental illness?
At 8:40 on the same page.
It's the same date,
Oh, I see. 8:41.
8:41.
Yes, ma'am.
He also looked up anxiety disorder and what can cause mental illness. That may be it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. 187, page 187. We're looking specifically at November 21st, 21 at 10:16 PM.
What page, ma'am?
187.
187 is all November 24th.
All right, if you go, I think it's probably just the next page. It's in the same succession. We're looking for November 21st.
Okay.
10:16 PM.
Yes, ma'am.
He's looking up what is the difference between the Army and Army Rangers, correct?
Correct.
He then goes on to look at what age can you join the Army Rangers? What age can you join the Army?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
At 10:10 on that same day, November 21st, he looks up, what if you don't know if you want to be in 10th grade?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
He goes further to look up, can you get arrested for not going to school?
Correct.
At 9:45, he looks up, what are the necessary grades for high school, correct?
Correct.
He goes on further to say what gets you, or to look up, what gets you held back in school?
Correct.
What is the sense of college?
Yes, ma'am. I see.
What does it mean if you aren't going to college?
Yes, I see it.
Can you get in trouble for not doing homework?
Yes, I see it.
I'm going to draw your attention. I believe it's 1,116. We're looking at November 11th of 21. Specifically 12:07 AM. Which is a school night.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
He looks up, am I a sociopath?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
It then appears that he did a test to discover if he was a narcissist.
Which one are you referring to?
It's in that same succession, around 12:07 AM.
I see it. Yes, ma'am.
He looks up, what is a psychopath?
On the same day?
It may be the following page, but it's the same date. It's just in the succession of those searches on that date and time.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a sociopath?
Are you asking me what is a social?
No, no, I apologize. He also Googles, what is a sociopath?
Correct.
He Googles, what is it called when you want to kill?
Correct.
He Googles, how do you know if you have gone insane?
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier in that night, I believe we're looking now at 1124. He Googles, what can hormones do?
Correct.
How to tell your doctor that you have depression?
Correct.
Can a therapist tell the police about a confession? He Googles, can a therapist tell your parents?
Correct.
He looks up, what is OCD?
Correct.
So now we're looking at November 10th at 11:48 PM. Again, a school night. He looks up what to do if you have thoughts of hurting people.
Right.
How to tell your parents that you have depression.
Correct.
And then it appears in the couple of pages following, he actually took a test to discover if he had depression.
The website would make you believe that, yes, I.
So I want to skip ahead to October 12th. I believe we're looking at 1,975. Again, October 12th, 1:10 in the morning, a school night.
Yes, ma'am.
He Googles, what chemical reaction happens when you go insane?
Right.
I want to skip to September 9th of 21. I believe now we're at 2,172.
Okay.
At 10:37 AM, he Googles, will blood come out of a dog when dies from heart failure? Correct?
Right.
What if a dog convulses and dies?
You search that? Correct.
Yes. He searched, what causes a dog to die from not breathing?
Right.
Searches how to move a large dead dog.
Right.
He searches, who do you call if your dog dies?
Right.
I then want to go to September 3rd. I believe we're at 2,185 at 8:01 PM.
Okay.
He Googles how to be a fighter pilot in the Air Force, correct?
Right.
How do you join the paratroopers?
Right.
So I want to move on to a different exhibit. I want to talk about the messages between. Oh, if you want to go to exhibit F.
Okay.
And these are from a cell phone that was reported to be Ethan's, correct?
It appears so by the participants listed at the top, yes.
Okay. Would you agree with me? This is from 2016, correct?
Correct.
And at 10:11 or on 10/11 of 2016 at 10:05 PM, a school night. The text messages are, Mommy, can I get out of here?
Correct.
He then texts his mom, I don't want to be alone. Correct?
Correct.
On 10/22 of 2016 at 10:14 PM. Ethan texts his mom, I don't like being home for too long, correct? Looking at page 14.
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
He then texts, please no.
Correct.
No 11 o'clock, no later.
Correct.
Just be here at 11 o'clock.
On the next page, yes.
Yes, next
Correct.
page. Mommy, can you please be home now?
Correct.
Can you please be home?
Correct.
10:49 PM. Well, let me back up. There's no responses, correct, during those messages? Okay. I'm gonna skip to 10:59, same day. I just don't feel good, that's all. Correct?
Right.
And at 11 o'clock, we receive what I believe to be a response from the phone number listed as Jennifer's. And the response is, it's okay, buddy. We're right down the road and the neighbors are watching the house. I'm out with the ski patrol celebrating. It was a big deal today. Please understand, correct?
Correct.
I want to look at those in the same messages from January 24th of 2017. It would be page 41. Again, we're looking at text messages sent by Ethan at 1:05 PM. Mommy, correct?
Correct.
No response at 4:55 PM. He sends a text saying, the rest of my tooth is coming out. Please come as quickly as you can. Correct?
Correct.
No response.
Correct.
Moving on to the more recent text messages. Page 113. On March 9th of 2021 at 7:50 PM. Ethan messages, can you come home now? There is someone in the house, I think, correct?
Correct.
Someone walked into the bathroom and flushed the toilet and left the light on, correct?
Correct.
And I thought it was you, but when I came out, no one was home.
Correct.
There is no one in the house though, correct?
Correct.
Dude, my door just slammed.
Correct.
Maybe it's just my paranoia.
Correct.
But when are you going to get home?
Correct.
And there's no response, correct? Not on that day.
Correct.
All right, now skipping to page 131. We're talking about messages from March 20th at 2:34 PM.
Okay.
Ethan sends a text that says, I cleaned until the clothes started flying off the shelf, correct?
Correct.
This stuff only happens when I'm home alone, correct?
Correct.
Again, no response.
Correct.
Page 152. There's an incoming text message from Jennifer that says, your gun came, correct?
Correct.
And that's April 21st of 2021.
Correct.
We're gonna look at page 202. On 10/11 of 2021, Ethan texts his mom, make sure to get the MP40 on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
And type it exactly like this, MP40. Make sure to add the dash in it. That's how you will find the one for $185. Is that correct? And Jennifer responds, okay. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll move ahead to page 214, the bottom of the page. Jennifer texts Ethan, seriously, question mark, looking up bullets in school, question mark, correct?
Correct.
Ethan responds, what? Oh yeah, I already went to the office for that. It was in first hour. All I did was look up a certain caliber at the end of class because I was curious. It was on my phone, completely harmless. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Correct.
And at some point, at about 12:13, Jennifer responds, let me back up. Ethan texts his mom previous to that. This is not something I should get in trouble about, correct?
Correct.
And Jennifer's response is, you're not. They left me a voicemail. Correct?
Correct.
Following page 217, Jennifer texts, did you at least show them a pic of your new gun?
Correct.
And he responds, no, I didn't show them a pic of it says God, but I believe it was supposed to be gun, correct?
It says, no, I did not show them the pic of my.
My God, yes. On the following page on 218, Jennifer responds, LOL, I'm not mad. You have to learn not to get caught. Correct?
Right.
If you could go to exhibit G.
So you said G?
G, yes. We're looking at the messages, Facebook messages between James and Jennifer Crumbley. That is something you were able to pull off of the phones. Is that correct?
This would have come from a search warrant.
Okay.
Return.
Understood. So you would agree with me if we're looking at the first page there. Unfortunately, they're not numbered. James messages, I just picked up Ethan, rainy, no snow, LOL, correct?
Correct.
Jennifer responds, is he still being weird and depressed?
Correct.
And James responds, no, correct?
Correct.
And these are, the dates on these are 10/27 of 2020, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to then go just to the next physical page, and we're looking at messages from March 8th of 2021. Jennifer messages James, why isn't he home yet? Correct? It's at the bottom of the page.
Correct.
He should be home by now, correct?
Correct.
She then states, freaking out.
Correct.
He responds, he does not get home till 3:16, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer responds, I told you to pick him up because he's upset and I don't want him to do anything stupid, God damn it. Correct?
Correct.
And James' response is, dude, chill. He's fine. I'm just trying to fucking work.
Correct.
She then says, does he have his phone? Correct?
Correct.
And James responds, yes, but he won't answer while he's walking. I'll let you know the minute he walks in.
Correct.
And Jennifer's response is, I'm seriously freaking out.
Right.
The next page, we're looking at messages that were retrieved from March 19th of 2021. Jennifer texts James, Ethan awake, question mark.
Correct.
Response, yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Following page, Jennifer asks, how is he?
Right.
James responds, he woke up looking like he had way too much to drink last night, complaining about a headache, correct?
Correct.
She responds, well, he was really worked up and out of control, so I can see why.
Right.
James responds, I apologize. Jennifer then sends another message. All I know is he needs to eat, go to work hard, and not complain, and he'll be able to get his stuff back, correct?
Correct.
Later in the conversation, James messages, he said, let me ask you a question. Why am I in your guy's room? LOL.
Correct.
And Jennifer responds, capital letters, OMG.
Correct.
James then messages, I totally thought you were giving him a Xanax last night.
Correct.
Jennifer says, does he seem better? No, melatonin.
Correct.
Jennifer messages, but he hasn't had one before. Should have only gave him half, correct?
Correct.
James then messages, he is just doing his school, says his head hurts. He took some Tylenol, correct?
Correct.
Later in the message at the bottom of the page, Jennifer says, does he remember what he did? Correct?
Correct.
Following page, James responds, dude, I am working on a demo right now. I've not talked to him and he's doing school. At 2:06 PM, so a little bit later, Jennifer then turns the discussion about the horses. Are we going to the barn, correct?
Correct.
And James responds, was plan on going out after I take Ethan to work, correct?
Correct.
Jennifer asks, how is he doing, correct?
Yes.
Following page, James says, he says he's not feeling well and headache, but he's got to suck it up.
Correct.
Jennifer then says, are you giving him his phone? I don't want him going on not feeling well.
Correct.
And James responds, I will give him his phone. He has to go to work. Can't call out 1.5 hours before a shift. That's shitty.
Correct.
I want to then move to the next page. We're talking about March 29th of 21.
Okay.
In a message that Jennifer sent to James, we're looking at the third line of that larger message at the top of the page. Do you agree with me that she says, Ethan's braces, those need to be handled. They need to come off. I'm not investing any more money in those.
Correct. That's part of the messages.
We'll move to the following page. Specifically towards the bottom of the page, April 29th of 21. Message from Jennifer. I wonder if we can get Ethan's counselor at school to talk to him. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, we're going to skip a little bit ahead. We're looking for, and again, unfortunately, these pages are not numbered in the discovery. Looking for a date of April 29th of 21.
Okay.
Jennifer messages Ethan home, question mark.
What time was that at?
It's at the very top of the page. Looks like the previous page says the time is 12:52.
Correct. I see it.
And James responds, yes, I picked him up, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Jennifer says, how is he?
Correct.
And James responds, seems fine. I left a message for the school counselor earlier. The office person said they were leaving early, but would call me back tomorrow, correct?
Correct.
Now, you also examined messages between Ethan and a juvenile that he was in constant communication with. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you look at Exhibit H? You would agree with me that from these messages, you can tell that these two individuals spoke nearly daily and all day long, correct?
Correct.
Even into the very early morning hours and late evening, correct?
Correct.
All right. So we'll start on page 1522. We're talking about March 3rd, 21, 5:12 a.m. I know they aren't, but I still have extreme paranoia, correct?
Well, I gotta point something out.
Sure.
That it's UTC time on there, which means it's not adjusted for the actual time.
Okay.
So it should be more like 1 in the morning or something like that.
1 in the morning. Okay.
But yes, it says that.
Following page, he then messages, my brain literally makes me see that's there is someone standing there when there isn't, correct?
Correct.
Like my arm would move up by itself. That's how bad paranoia I have.
Correct.
We'll move to page 1690. We're looking at messages from March 10th of 2021.
Okay.
Holy shit, there's actually is no one home. The door opened, the light turned on, and I saw and heard someone walk out, but no one is home, correct?
Correct.
He then moves on to say the toilet even flushed.
Correct.
And fucking tank is barking now.
Correct.
I'm not joking, RN, for right now, correct?
Correct.
I'm legit scared.
Correct.
We'll go to page 1697.
Okay.
Middle of the page, he messages, dude, help. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. Dude, there's a ghost in my house. I'm not fucking joking.
Correct.
Page 1702.
Okay.
The bottom of the page. And that's the same day, same time, same discussion thread. I texted my parents, but they haven't responded.
Right.
All right, let's move to March 17th of 21, which is page 1953.
Okay.
Would you agree with me? Obviously, I know that the time is not accurate like it's stated, but would you agree with me early morning hours?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
One thought that keeps coming back to me is how after school, I have no plan in life.
Correct.
I'm most likely going to be homeless.
Correct.
I have no desire to do anything.
Right.
Following page, it's what keeps me up all night.
Correct.
I want to then draw your attention to page 1959. We're still talking about the same day, same thread.
Okay.
Ethan messages, and that when you're an adult, you can't go back ever. You're stuck going forward until everything turns black forever. There won't be anything after life for the rest of existence, correct?
Correct.
Never ever will there be another life. Never ever can you go back to your young life. The end is near and is getting closer every second.
Correct.
I then want to direct your attention to page 2041. We're looking at messages from March 17th. Dude, I keep hearing footsteps, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll move forward to page 2043 in that same text thread. I kind of do hope you can get FN back. I take that to mean fortnight from reading the messages, because I am legit shaking RN right now. And my mom had the audacity to not respond to me. Correct?
Correct.
Something is in the living room again. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Page 2045, that same text thread. Help me, dude. Oh, fuck, I'm having a heart attack. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. I have to get out of this house. There is shot, I believe it was supposed to be shit, being thrown around, correct?
Correct.
And you would agree with me that for the next number of pages, Mr. Crumbley is indicating all of these things that are occurring in the house. We'll jump ahead to page 2051, same text thread. My parents aren't even answering back, correct? At the top of the page,
Yep.
2051.
Correct.
I want to jump ahead to page 2386. Specifically a message where the time is listed 3:50 a.m. Obviously, I know that that time is not correct, but we're talking early morning hours, late evening, early morning hours. He sends a message stating, I had a fucking breakdown 2 days ago after work, correct?
Correct.
Now my mom thinks I take drugs, correct?
Correct.
Like she thinks that the reason why I'm so mad and sad all the time is because I take drugs and she doesn't worry about my mental health. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. I try to act happy for them because when I'm grumpy, then I get my shit taken away and yelled at. And then they make myself look like I'm causing all the misfortune. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. They make me feel like I'm the problem. I fucking lost it in the shower. I had no memory of that night. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. From what my mom said is that I went outside on shorts and talked to myself. LOL. I don't know if that's true. Correct?
Correct.
Following page. Doesn't sound like me, and I don't even remember it. My dad is just mad and sad, and my mom makes everyone feel like a piece of shit. Correct?
Correct.
We'll go to now 2393. Same text thread. Now we're looking at, it says 3:55, so even later or earlier in the morning. I'm also hallucinating. Sounds crazy, but I am a little bit. Correct?
Correct.
Following page, same text thread. Like I hear people talking to me and see someone in the distance. Correct?
Correct.
Following page, same text thread. I actually asked my dad to take me to the doctor yesterday, but he just gave me some pills and told me to suck it up.
Right.
Like it's at the point that I'm asking to go to the doctor.
Right.
My mom laughed when I told her.
Right.
We'll then skip to page 2411.
Okay.
Same text thread. This is the first time I have told someone, but in Spanish class before break, I was dozing off and I could see a girl with short blonde hair standing right next to me and say, will you be mad if I wake you up? Correct? We'll then go to page 2415.
Okay.
I know you probably don't even believe me, like I'm just doing this for attention. Correct?
Correct.
I'm not, man. I need help. I was thinking I calling 911 too, so I could go to the hospital. Correct?
Correct.
Following page, but then my parents would be really pissed.
Correct.
Following page, sometimes I even tell myself that I am, but then like who? Who am I doing this to get their attention? There's no one. Correct?
Correct.
Then on page 2421, the juvenile that he's texting with says, when did all this bad shit start happening? Correct?
Correct.
And Ethan's response is 2 weeks ago, correct? On page 2429, looks like it's the same text thread. I just want things to go back to normal. It's the only thing that has been going through my head for a month.
Correct.
Following page, I never know when I'm going to hear a voice or see a person standing at the end of the hall in my house. I even see it at work sometimes. Correct? We'll then move to page 2436. Looks like it's the same text thread.
Okay.
Ethan texts, everyone needs a safe place in their life. I don't feel safe anywhere. Correct?
Correct.
Following page, same text thread. I'm going to ask my parents to go to the doctors tomorrow or Tuesday again.
Correct.
But this time I'm going to tell them about the voices. I only told them about the people I saw.
Correct.
Page 2440, same text thread. Like I'm mentally and physically dying.
Correct.
You would agree with me from review of these messages in October of 2021, the messages stopped, correct? The responses stopped, I should say.
Yes.
And in reviewing those messages, you did not find any explanation from the juvenile that he was texting as to why there was no more response, correct?
Right.
Thank you very much. I have no other questions.
Thank you. Redirect.
Thank you. I'll be very brief, Judge.
Thank you.
Detective, you weren't in the courtroom yesterday when we put on the record, but we stipulated to all these exhibits. It's part of the record. That's what she read to you. That's what the defendant wrote. So I just want you to understand that.
Okay.
That there's no quarrel there. So you review the entire phone, you review the images, text messages, the Facebook messages between James and Jennifer Crumbley. And I want to talk to you just a little bit about what else is there. So we hit on a lot, defense counsel hit on the months of March and April, the springtime of 2021. So while the defendant was also texting these text messages to his friend, he was also writing about certain themes. And as you review the phone, certain themes appeared. Is that right?
Correct.
These things were hurting the defenseless.
Correct.
Specifically children. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Multiple text messages about the desire to drown children,
Yes.
a desire to kidnap, rape a fellow student,
Yes.
a desire to torture kids.
Yes, sir.
Also, a theme emerged about the need to kill an animal to satisfy an urge. Would that be right?
Correct.
And so we displayed some text messages yesterday that went from March of 2021 all the way to late June of 2021. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, one of the text messages was, I need to kill again right now. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
Now, according to exhibit 55. That's the people's exhibit 55, the search items that you testified to regarding the keyword school. At least according to one search of the defendant's phone, at least if you just were to plug in the word school in his Google searches, the defendant was searching about school shootings as early as November the 6th, 2021. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a full 3 weeks before he actually committed the attack in Oxford High School.
Correct.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Judge.
Thank you. With that being said, any reason why this witness should not be excused?
None at all.
No, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, sir, you may step down. You may also leave the courthouse if you wish.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. People, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, I just want to alert the media that our next witness is a minor.
Thank you. With that being said, I am asking members of the media, please do not photograph or video record any minors that will be testifying. Please turn your cameras away from those individuals. You can still record their audio, but please do not capture their faces and broadcast their faces. Yes, if you could face it down or towards someone else, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
People
And
call Heidi Allen.
thank you. You're going to stand in the witness box. My clerk is going to give you an oath, and then if you could, please affirm that oath if you're going to tell the truth. That being said, you could please administer the oath.
Victory Raymond, under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth?
And Heidi, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Thank you. And Heidi, do you understand the difference between telling the truth and a lie? And obviously, if I said I had on a red robe right now, would that be the truth or a lie? Thank you. And on this record today, do you promise to tell the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could, please tell me your full name and then spell your last name to me.
My name is Heidi Allen, A-L-L-E-N.
Thank you. People, your witness, and if you could, you have a very light voice. If you could, please just keep your voice up for me, okay? Thank you. People, your witness.
Good morning, Heidi.
Morning.
I know you can project your voice, so
Okay.
I want you to do that.
Sure.
You're 17, correct? You have to say yes or no.
Yes,
Okay. And you're still in high school.
yes.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Oxford High School.
Okay, what grade are you in?
I'm going to be a senior.
Okay, but you're off for the summer right now.
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been going to the Oxford Public Schools?
Since kindergarten.
Okay, so you live close by, and that's the school you've gone to your whole life.
Yes.
Okay. What grade were you in on November 30th, 2021?
I was in 10th grade.
Okay. And if you can remember, you were a sophomore, correct?
Mhm.
All right, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. What was your schedule like? What did you start in the morning, or did it change each day?
I believe it changed each day, but I don't fully remember. I know my schedule for that day.
Okay, can you tell the court what your schedule was that day?
Yes. So first hour I had language arts, and then I can't remember my second hour. But I
Okay,
know third hour I had chemistry, and then fourth hour I had choir. Wait, I don't actually remember. Oh, I had Chinese fourth hour,
okay,
and then fifth hour I had math. Sixth hour I had choir, and then seventh hour I had history.
Heidi, when was your lunch?
My lunch was during fourth hour.
Okay, and the way it works is it's sort of in the middle of fourth hour, is that right? Or is
Yes.
it, okay. I'm gonna direct your attention over there
Mhm.
to that screen. Can you, Mark is going to put the dot where you tell him, but where were you eating lunch?
I was eating lunch in the commons.
Okay, and do you remember about what time lunch ended and you headed to your next class?
So lunch ended and I went to fourth hour, and then fourth hour, I'm not sure what time it ended. I actually don't remember what time it ended.
Okay, where on the map it was your fourth hour?
My fourth hour was 5:16 classroom.
Right there?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see those numbers up there. That's impressive. Okay, so you ended fourth hour, correct?
Yes.
All right, and what did you do next after fourth hour? Went out during passing time?
Yes.
Okay.
After passing time, I went down the 400 hallway,
Okay,
and then I went down to all the way unto 241 to drop my stuff off.
okay. About right there?
Yes,
Okay. And you dropped your stuff off. What kind of stuff?
just my backpack and my phone and probably my coat at the time. I'm not sure.
Okay,
But
but
it
you weren't
was-
using lockers at the time because
No,
of
we were
COVID,
not.
correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you drop your things off and you still have some time, so what?
Yes,
okay.
so I actually had to use the bathroom in my 4th hour class, but I decided I'll just go before 5th hour.
Okay,
So then I went down from 241 and I could have gone to, I was debating going to the bathroom across from 233. But I ended up going to the bathroom right after 258.
right up there?
Yes,
Okay, where the red dot is.
yes,
All right. And you use the bathroom.
I didn't make it to the bathroom.
Okay, so you're heading down the 200 hallway. Have you turned the corner yet when you noticed something was unusual?
No, I turned the corner and nothing was unusual at that point.
Okay. When did something occur that was,
So it was right around the middle of maybe 256 and 258 when I noticed the shooter came out of the bathroom, but I didn't notice anything was wrong at first until when I heard everything, I heard a gunshot and then I saw what was happening at the same time.
okay. The defendant, the shooter, when did you first see him?
When he came out of the bathroom.
Okay, and did you know him?
Yes.
Can you describe what he was wearing and what he looked like?
Yes, he was wearing all black and a hat and a black mask and just all black pretty
Okay.
much.
How did you know who it was?
So we weren't friends or anything. I just knew of him. We had gone to school since middle school and he'd always been a classmate, but I think I had only talked to him maybe once or twice.
Okay, so, how would you describe him in class?
He was very quiet.
Okay.
He didn't answer when people talked to him. He was just quiet.
Okay. So you didn't at the time know anything about
No.
him? You weren't friends?
No.
Okay, you never socialized with him?
No, not
I
really.
mean, doing things outside of
No,
school?
never.
Okay. But you did know his name?
Yes.
All right. And when you looked up and saw him, what did you think?
Well, a million things went through my head at that point, but I knew exactly who it was, but I just couldn't. At the same time, I just thought there's no way that could be him.
Okay. When did you first notice the gun?
The gun, when it first went off. Actually, when he walked out of the bathroom, I noticed, but I didn't really process it until it went off.
Okay, and how did you notice? What did you see?
He had walked. Can you explain?
Was there a gesture or something that?
Yes,
made-
he did a gesture that was up and down. with-
Okay, can you
yeah,
show the court?
Yes, just like this.
Okay, the record should reflect she's raising her right arm level with her eyesight.
Thank you, so reflected.
And that's when you noticed it was him.
Yes,
Okay, and you just said, I didn't believe it was him.
I just
What
thought,
do
no
you
way.
mean when you say that?
Because I just didn't understand how somebody could do something like that. Just anyone,
Okay. You saw the gun and
Yes.
then what happened?
And then, so it fired off, and for me, it felt that there was a pause, but everything kind of slowed down for me from real time. It was all very slow motion. So I had covered my head, and supposedly, what I remember, I dropped down. And
I'm gonna stop you for just a moment.
yes,
What was the hallway? What was it like? How many kids were in the hallway at that point and who was in front of you
oh yes, okay.
around? Did you know at the time?
Yes, Phoebe was right in front of me.
Did you know Phoebe?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Did you know anyone else in the hallway at that time?
No, actually.
Okay.
Not really. So Phoebe was in front of me, her boyfriend was next to her, and then there was a group of girls across from me. And then it was very quiet. there was no screaming, nothing. It was just the gunshots.
And how many shots?
I don't know. It
And
was a
what did
lot.
What did it sound like?
It sounded like a balloon popping or like a locker slamming. It was very loud.
Okay. And you said you dropped down?
Yes.
Okay. Did you drop down because you were hit?
No, I dropped down because that's just what I had. My reaction.
That was your instinct?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do when you dropped down?
I just prayed and I covered my head because I didn't know if those were my last moments.
What happened next?
Since it was slowed down for me, what I remember is him running or walking past me, and I just closed my eyes because I thought he was coming up to me.
How did you know he was walking past you?
I don't know. I just could feel it.
Okay.
And then I just closed my eyes, and then eventually I realized he was gone because I opened them to look around and he was gone.
What did you see, Heidi, when you looked around?
I saw two girls across from me, and then down the hall was another girl
When you say that you saw them, what were they doing?
just laying there. And then I saw a girl in front of me.
I'm sorry, you have to keep your voice up just a little bit, okay?
Yes.
All right.
And then there was a girl in front of me who was the only one who was responsive.
So responsive to what?
Yes. So I asked everybody in the hallway from where I was at if anybody had been hit, and nobody had answered me because they couldn't.
Okay. And one person did?
Yes. But Phoebe answered me.
Okay. At the time, did you know her name?
No, I did not.
All right. What did she say?
She started to cry. I don't exactly remember her exact words, but she just started to cry. So then I had told her that she's going to be okay, and I helped her up. And then I had to figure out where to go. So, but at that point, there had been an announcement made when I was on the ground. And so I had to figure out where to go because all the classrooms had been shut at that point. Thankfully, there was a classroom that was open, and it
Okay,
was
Can we look up at the
Yes.
map?
258.
So that classroom just happened to be wide open
Yes,
and no one was in it.
yes.
Do you know why?
I think the teacher had a prep hour.
Okay. Heidi, you said you saw the defendant lift his arm, you saw the gun. Did you see anybody get shot?
Yes.
Who?
I saw Phoebe get shot, and I saw her boyfriend, and then I saw the group of girls, and then I turned away.
Okay. Do you know how many shots there were?
I have no idea.
Okay. So you see the empty classroom and
Yes.
then what happens?
I helped her get up, and then I took her into that classroom and immediately put the safety lock in.
The night lock?
The night lock, yes.
Heidi, how did you know how to install the night lock?
Yes, so we've had drills every year since middle school. And we had a drill the month prior. And a teacher had randomly called on me in class to go put the lock in. And
How
at the
many
time,
people did she call on?
just a few.
Okay.
But it was me, and then she counted down from 10. And I didn't know how to do it. And I couldn't figure it out. And so she came over and she showed me exactly how to do it. So then when that moment came, I knew exactly how to do it.
Do you think you would have known if she hadn't done that?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. So is Phoebe standing at this point? Can she walk?
Yeah, she was walking, so I helped her up. And as soon as I put the lock in, I took her to the middle of the room. And then
What were you saying to Phoebe? What was one of the first things that you said?
she's gonna be okay.
Okay.
I just kept reassuring her that she was gonna be okay. I had no idea.
Was
I
she
don't,
making any kind of noise verbally?
she was crying, and I don't fully remember what she was saying, but I don't know.
Okay, and were you trying to be quiet?
I was trying to stay calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get the night lock in and then what do you do?
I took her to the middle of the room, and then I asked her where she had been shot or where she had been hit, and she didn't know, but there was just blood everywhere. So
What do you mean when you said blood everywhere?
there was just blood on her clothes, and then it was starting to get on me, but we didn't know where it was coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I had asked her where it hurt, and then she said it was in her arm. So I thought maybe it was in her arm, but then she took her shirt off, and it was right on her chest area. And then there was another shot, I believe, on her neck. And so I immediately took her sweater And I put pressure on it because that's all I know how to do. I don't know how to handle that stuff because I just never learned how.
Was she laying down at this point or,
She was sitting up.
okay,
So we were sitting on the floor, she was sitting up, and then I started to pray with her because I didn't know what else to do. And
what did you say to her?
I asked her if she knew who God was. And she had said not really. But I said, I think I'm supposed to be here right now because there's no other reason that I'm okay. That I'm in this hallway, completely untouched.
Hey, do you know if you were the only person in the hallway that didn't get shot?
I don't know.
Everyone around you did? Yes,
Yes,
okay. So you're praying with her
yes.
and then what do you do?
So after we prayed, I needed to find a phone because mine was still in the classroom. I don't bring my phone with me anywhere. And so then we went all the way to the back where there was a school phone and she asked to call the police. And I said, I'm sure they're already on their way. And I know a million people are already calling them. So then
Were you hearing any sounds at this point?
there was just some slight gunshots, but at this point, probably not.
Okay,
So then she pulls her phone out, and then we went to a farthest point from the door we could. So, and the lights were off, and then we had called her mom. And then we had told her mom what happened.
who was talking to her mom?
Me.
What were you saying?
I said, well, she initially answered the phone and then she said, Mom, it's me. I've been shot. And then I took the phone and I started talking like she's gonna be okay.
What was
You know.
her mom's reaction? Had she already heard about the,
No, she obviously had a hard time with it.
what does that mean?
She was panicking.
Okay,
And so she was trying to talk with her. And so I was trying to talk with her as well, just to reassure that she's gonna be okay, just to keep her with me. And so then and then she had to go because she had to call her dad. So then when she hung up the phone, I called my dad. I mean, I tried to call my mom twice first and then it wasn't working.
it wasn't a number she knew.
No, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It
Because
wasn't a number she knew.
Phoebe's phone.
Right.
Okay.
And so I called my dad and my dad answered like immediately. And I had explained to him what happened, what was going on. And then I started to get worked up. And then he said, just keep doing what you're doing. You got to stay calm.
What were you worked up about?
I started to realize what the situation was,
What was the situation?
that there was a school shooting. And I started to get worked up about that.
Did you have any siblings in the school?
I do have a sister that was at the school, but she went to the school, but she had online that hour, so she was not there.
Okay. So you hang up with your dad and then what do you do?
After that, I believe she called her mom back and we just kept talking to her until I heard people in the hallway that I assumed to be police.
And do you know if you can remember where you saw the bullet holes in her body?
Yes, it was about right here.
And you're pointing to your
My
left chest, like right around where your collarbone is?
Yes.
Okay,
And then on her neck,
your left
Lower
left
neck.
side of the neck?
Yeah.
Okay,
and then her mask had blood on it, but I'm not sure if she was shot on her face or not.
okay. And what's happening to her physically during this time? Is she continuing to bleed? Is she?
Yeah, she was continuing to bleed a lot. So
Was she in pain?
yes, well, at first she wasn't. She couldn't feel anything. And then the shock kind of started to wear off, I think. So then she started to cry. And I had taken my sweatshirt off because hers had been soaked. So I took my sweatshirt and I put it on her. And I just kept talking to her to stay with me.
Okay. And was she getting, did you feel like she was getting to the point where she was gonna be unconscious, or was she alert the whole time?
So she had been alert, and then there was times where she would start to zone off. And that's when I really had to just talk with her just to keep her with me. But I don't know.
Okay. Are you continuing to put pressure on her
Yes,
wounds?
the whole
Okay.
time.
And how long were you in that room, if you know?
I have no idea.
What did it feel like?
It felt like a really long time.
Okay. And what happened so that you could actually get out of the room and get her help?
Yes. So I I did end up having to leave her because she was all the way in the back, and at that point she couldn't move anymore. So I had to run back and forth just to see if anybody was coming, and then finally I saw police there.
So where were you? How did you tell someone was coming?
I could hear voices in the hallway,
Okay.
because it
Was there a-
sounded,
Was there a window on that?
there was a window, yes.
Okay. So you were looking out?
Yes, I kept looking out the window, and then I finally saw like police officers.
Were you worried it might be did you know where the shooter was? Did you know if this was still going on?
I knew that it wasn't the shooter. I just knew I just felt that it was one person. And I knew exactly who it was, and he wasn't in that room.
Okay. At one point, did you get somebody to come and help you?
Yes, so I took out the safety lock, and they were helping other people and still running around. So
Hold on a second.
Oh.
You took it out because they told you to, or you took it out because you determined that it was probably safe?
I took it out because I determined it was safe.
Okay.
And I started yelling in the hallway that I needed help. And someone came in and walked in, but they weren't sure what was going on. And
When you say someone, was it someone in law enforcement? Was it a
yes,
teacher?
it was. I'm not sure.
Do you remember what color uniform he was wearing? Was he wearing uniform?
Yes, he was wearing uniform.
Okay.
Yes, and it was can I say his name?
Yes.
Okay, Sergeant Hubble. He
Okay.
came in and he didn't fully realize what was going on because he was so focused on, making
Trying
sure
to get the
everybody right. And so then I finally yelled and I was like, I need help right now. And so he came over and realized my hand slipped from her wound. And so he realized what was going on.
What do you mean your
So-
hand slipped?
So when I was helping her, he asked her if she could get up and she said, no, I can't move. And so my hand slipped, and then he saw that, oh my goodness, she's bleeding, like she's been
Because
shot.
there was blood on your hand is what you're saying.
No, my hand slipped from her wound.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
And so then he helped me move her to a swivel chair.
A swivel chair?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he had left and then came back, and then we had taken her out into the hallway,
And Heidi, what did you make sure when she was on that chair, when she got in the hallway?
that she wasn't faced the way that everything was being handled.
You did that?
Yes,
Why?
because I didn't want her to see it.
What did that
Yes.
hallway look like?
It was chaos. There was someone trying to be resuscitated, and whoever was helping her was yelling at her like, come on, you get this and stuff, trying to just get her to respond.
Did you at some point learn who that was? Who was on the that needed resuscitating?
Yes.
Who was it?
Hannah.
Okay. What
And
else
then-
did you see?
Then Kylie was sitting up, just sitting up against a wall, just zoned out, kind of, just nothing. It just looked like there was just nothing there. And then Madison was at the end of the hallway, just by herself.
Did you know the names of those girls before? Is that
I did
enough?
not.
Okay. Did you see anything that made it seem like they were wounded?
Yes.
What did you see?
Well, by Madison, there was blood, just a pool of blood. And then there was just a lot of blood on Hannah and Kylie. And you could see their wounds.
Okay. And Phoebe couldn't see this because you turned
No.
her. Okay. And what did you do?
I kept helping her, and we were still on the phone with her mom. And then I just told her mom to keep talking with her just to keep her going. And then someone came over to help me, or wasn't really sure if I needed help, but I needed help. And so I was telling this person to help me.
Mhm.
And so eventually she took the phone as I'm still putting pressure, and then she held it while I talked with her mom. And the ambulance was just right outside. Just
Okay.
right outside.
And then at what point could you leave the school?
So they took Phoebe away, and I was still left in there. And at one point, an officer told me just to look at the wall. So I did, and I just looked at the wall.
All right. And how long were you there before you could leave? Your dad came to get you at some point, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know how long it was, but it did feel like a long time.
Okay. Heidi, you've seen the video.
Yes,
Okay, I'm gonna show it again so that you can identify it. And this starts in the 200 hallway when you turn the corner. Okay. And I don't think the media is filming Heidi or the image, correct? Okay. All right.
That should continue. You're not to record the video screen when sensitive information is put on the screen. With that being said, again, the court has reviewed this already, and so I will ask counsel to get through it, but you may proceed.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, one of the reasons that we're showing this again is it's very difficult without watching this several times to identify who was who and what was happening because it all happened so fast. So I do want to show the court and point out exactly where Heidi was in relation to the shooter.
And before the video starts, I will note that for anyone that does not wish to watch this video, this is the perfect time to step out of the courtroom if you wish. Again, there's a composure room that's outside of the courtroom. And so if you do not wish to watch this, this is the perfect time to step out. Thank you.
Okay, Heidi, let the court know when you appear on this.
I'm on the screen right now.
Okay, and you're behind.
Yes, I'm behind the.
That's you right there?
Yes,
Okay.
Just so I'm clear who you are in this on the screen, are you the person on the left-hand side, further towards the back?
yes,
Thank you.
The cursor's on it right now, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Now you're not moving, but what's happening right now?
I'm asking if anybody's been hit. And then Phoebe was the only one that responded.
And what are you saying to her? You both went in the room?
Yes, what am I saying?
Yes.
I'm asking her, or I'm telling her she's gonna be okay. I didn't know the severity of where she had been shot.
You told her a lot. She was gonna be okay, correct?
Yes,
Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Okay. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you. With that being said, cross-examination, please keep the court's prior comments in mind.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With
Can
that
this
being
witness
said,
be
any,
excused?
thank you. Any reason why this witness should not be excused?
None at all.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You may step down. You may also leave the courthouse. Thank you.
Your Honor, may we briefly approach?
Yes. Thank you. Before we call the next witness, we're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break. Deputies, you may take the defendant back downstairs. With that being said, while the deputies are removing the defendant from the courtroom, everyone please be seated.
Yeah, may I just stand right here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. With that being said, we'll take about a 10-minute break. The court stands in recess.
All rise.
Your Honor, Klein People versus Ethan Crumbley, case number 2022-279-506 FC.
Thank you. Appearances for the record.
Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Thank you, Marquise, on behalf of people.
David Williams on behalf of the people.
Paula Michelle Lofton on behalf of the defendant.
Amy Happ on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Separation Helvey on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Thank you. You may all be seated. That being said, people, you may call your next witness. And for the media that's in the courtroom, it's my understanding that the next witness is a minor. Please do not, again, record or photograph this individual. Thank you. With that being said, please approach the witness stand.
Your Honor, the people call Keegan Gregory.
Thank you. Mr. Gregory, you're going to stand in the witness box. You're then going to face my clerk. She's going to swear you in, okay? Thank you.
Please raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat.
Mr. Gregory, how old are you?
16.
16? Do you know the difference between telling the truth and a lie?
Yes.
If I said that I had on a pink robe right now, would that be a truth or a lie?
Lie.
Thank you. And you promised to tell the truth on the record this morning?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could just keep your, I know this is very sensitive, but if you could, please just keep your voice up for me and try to speak like you're speaking to someone at the very back of the courtroom. You can't do any uhs or uhs. Everything has to be verbal, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. People, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Keegan.
Morning.
Okay. How old are you currently?
16.
And where did you end your last school year? Where did you attend?
Oxford High School.
And how long have you been attending Oxford schools?
Since kindergarten.
Okay, we're gonna have to get your voice up just a little bit, okay? I know your family's sitting in the courtroom, pretend like you're talking to them. And were you at Oxford High School on November 30th, 2021?
Yes.
What grade were you in then?
9.
Ninth? Okay, so you were a freshman, which means you were probably only attending that actual building probably for a few months, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember November 30th, 2021?
Yes.
All right. I want to take you to around 12:30 that day. Do you remember what you were doing?
I was walking with my friends back from lunch.
You just have to speak up just a little bit.
I was walking back from lunch.
Okay. And if you see the map up there, where were you having lunch?
In the Commons?
Okay. Where the red dot is?
Yes.
All right. Keegan, how many friends were you walking with?
I think 2.
And you were on your way to what class? What hour, if you remember?
5th.
Okay. And which way did you go to your class from the Commons? Mark will move the dot when you tell him where you were.
And thank you. To be clear, the individual that's recording this, you are only showing the television. Is that correct?
Showing this. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear. You may continue.
Down the middle right hallway.
Right there?
Yep.
Okay. And how far did you go? Where did you end up?
I went all the way down and then down the 400.
And then where did you go?
I started walking to the right with my friends
Okay.
to the right. And then I split up from them and turned around because my class was the other way.
Okay. And what classroom were you headed towards?
Miss Schwartz.
And where is that on do you remember what the number of the classroom is?
245.
Okay, so right about there.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you make it to the classroom?
No,
What did you do?
I
First.
stopped to use the bathroom.
Which bathroom? Right there?
That one right there.
Near door 6.
Yes.
Okay. And when you went into the bathroom, was there anything unusual going on in the hallways?
No.
What was going on in the hallways? Passing time?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got into the bathroom, what happened?
I was using the bathroom
Mhm.
and heard shots.
All right. When you heard shots, what did that sound like?
Really loud.
Did you immediately think it was a gun?
No, I didn't believe it at first.
What did you think it was?
I didn't know what to think
Okay.
until I peeked out and saw people running.
So you actually opened the door and looked in the hallway
Yes.
and you saw them running.
Yes.
Did you hear anybody, were they screaming, were they yelling, was anything going on?
Yeah, screaming and yelling.
Okay, and then what did you think?
That it was a gunshots.
Okay, so what did you do, Keegan?
I kind of went back into the bathroom in like shock, not
Okay.
wanting to believe it.
And Keegan, I don't know if I asked you this, but how old were you on that day?
15.
Okay. You went back into the bathroom. Was anyone else in the bathroom with you?
Yes.
And you now know that person was who?
Justin Schilling.
Okay, did you know his name at the time?
No.
All right. Did you see him when you went into the bathroom?
No.
Did you see him when you looked out in the hall and came back?
When I came back in, he was outside of the stall.
And what did he do?
He told me to come in the stall with him.
Okay. Justin's older than you, correct?
Yes.
Had you ever seen him before?
Yes.
Tell the court where you had seen him before.
When I was a freshman going into our like day where they would show us around the school,
So just 2 or
Yeah.
3 months before?
Yeah.
Okay,
he was one of the seniors that was showing the incoming freshmen around the school and helping guide them.
what do you remember about him?
I remember he sat with me and my friends in this group and he was giving us Smarties and just laughing and positive.
Okay, so he was one of those seniors that was nice.
Yeah, and helping out.
Okay, but you didn't remember his name?
No.
All right. At the time, you were a few inches shorter, I think, correct?
Yes.
All right, and what's Justin's size?
He was a lot taller than me.
Okay. So he says, come into the bathroom.
Mhm.
Okay. And I'm gonna show a picture of that bathroom, but I'm not gonna show anything. There's no evidence of somebody being injured. We've cropped it.
Okay.
Is that the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. The record should reflect, we've entered this photo, but it contained the spot where Justin was shot. So we cropped that out. Now, Keegan,
I'm sorry, before you move on, for the record, which exhibit number is this?
61.
61.
Thank you.
When you say he said, come into the stall, which stall?
The larger handicap one.
Okay, so this one right there?
Yep.
Okay. And what did you do, Keegan?
I went in the stall.
Okay. What happened after that?
I squatted on the toilet.
Why did you do that?
So he couldn't see my feet.
Did Justin tell you to do that?
Yes.
Okay. So Justin told you to get on the toilet and just squat down so that your feet weren't visible under the stall.
Yes.
But what about, where did Justin stand?
The post to the left side of the door where his feet were not showing, he stood behind that.
Okay, so was he facing you or was his back to you when he was standing there?
I think his back. I think he was facing toward the door
Okay,
for most of it.
okay. And what did Justin say to you, if anything?
Nothing for a while. We were on our phones.
Okay. Did you hear anything at this point?
It went quiet
Okay.
for a while.
And Keegan, you just told me you were on your phone, right?
Mhm.
And one of the things that you were doing is texting your family, correct?
Yes.
And you have a group chat, correct?
Yes.
Okay. If you look up on the screen, is that your family group chat?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the group chat? What was it called then?
The fam.
The fam, okay. All of the writing on the left in caps, that's you?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like me to read that or do you want to read what you wrote?
You can.
Okay. So I can just. Okay, so at 12:52, the first text is help. And then gunshots. And then gun. And then I'm hiding in the bathroom. And then, oh my God. And then help. And then mom. And by this time, this is all in that first minute, 12:52. Then they're right here. Thank you. Right outside the bathroom. So that's all in the first minute. What were you trying to do
Stay quiet.
with the text messages?
Oh, I was scared. Just trying to communicate to my family.
Okay, and when you said they're right here outside the bathroom, what did you mean?
I heard one single shot right outside the bathroom, extremely loud.
Okay, and what did you think?
I don't know I didn't know what to think of it. Just
Okay.
scared.
And at some point, your dad responds to you, still in the first minute. What does he say? He says, just stay down. We can't come to you, but just stay down, quiet and calm. This is now 12:53. And you write, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
At this point, was it just still you and Justin in the bathroom?
Yes.
Okay. At 12:53. Dad says that, then you say, I'm terrified. At 12:53 again, you say, oh my God. Your dad says, stay down and calm. You're going to be fine. We love you. The next minute, 12:54, Dad says, you there? Anything happening? Has it stopped? Keegan, who is on this text thread? Your mom, your dad, and who else?
My two sisters.
How old were your two sisters on November 30th, 2021?
One was in 8th grade and one was in 7th.
Okay, so it's you, your 7th grade sister, your 8th grade sister, and your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think my little brother on his iPad is in there too, but
okay, but
Yeah.
we hopefully safely can say he was not reading these text messages. Okay. At 12:54, you say, someone in here. What were you talk to me about that?
we heard someone walk in.
Okay. Did you, what exactly did you hear?
The door open and footsteps.
Did it sound like one person or more than one person?
One.
Okay. Did you look out to see who it was?
No.
Okay. At 12:55, you say he's in the bathroom. You're talking about that person, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your dad says, stay down and don't move or engage. We love you. And then at 12:56, you say he saw us. What happened that made you text that?
He kicked the door in and swung open.
Okay. So at that moment, is that the first time you actually saw that individual?
Yes.
When you say he kicked the door in, how hard did he kick it?
Decent, not super hard, but
Okay. And what did he do when he kicked the door in?
stared at us.
Did he say anything?
I don't remember exactly.
Did you say anything?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Do you remember if Justin said anything?
I'm pretty sure we all stayed quiet.
Okay. And did he stay there with you or did he eventually leave the stall?
He just stared for a second and then walked out.
So that individual that did that, had you ever seen him before?
No,
You didn't know who he was?
no.
Okay. You text your family, I'm with one other person. Did you mean Justin?
Yes.
He saw us. And we are just standing here. Are you texting that when he's still in the stall? Or
No,
after he leaves?
he walked out.
Okay. And then dad responds, just stay calm. Is he gone? Right?
Was that a yes?
Yeah, that's yes.
Thank you.
And you respond, no, he's standing here. I see the gun. Oh my God. When did you see the gun?
I first saw it when he kicked the door open
And where was he holding it?
on his side.
Okay. So he was holding it like this with his arm down?
Yes.
Okay. But you did see it.
Yes,
Did he point it at you?
no,
Okay. Dad says again, okay, stay calm. What bathroom? Where are you exactly? I'll call. That's at 12:59. Now, Keegan, the next time you text your family is 1:01. So by that time, by 12:59, we know you will have been in the bathroom for about 7 minutes. Is that right?
yes.
Okay. I know this is hard. But can you tell the court what happened from 12:59 to 1:01?
He came back in,
The
And-
shooter?
yes.
Okay.
Told me to stay put and for Justin to come out of the stall with him.
I want to back up a bit. Was there a point where Justin was giving you any other directions?
Yes.
What was he saying to you?
This was before the shooter kicked open the stall. When we heard the shot close, he told me that when we hear them further away, we're gonna run. And he kind of mouthed it and signaled.
Okay. So that was his basically telling you how to escape.
Yes,
Okay. Did you say anything back to Justin?
I said, okay. I kind of nodded my head.
Okay. And so after you heard the shooter come in, at some point, was Justin trying to understand if he was still there?
Yes,
When did that occur?
he, after he kicked open the door and he walked back out and he was just in the bathroom.
And at this point, you can't see him, but you know he's still there?
Yes,
Okay. And what did Justin do?
he took out his phone camera and he held his phone down, so that at an angle so that I could see if his feet were still there.
Okay, so there's the bathroom. You're crouching on the toilet.
Mhm.
He's standing
Yes.
behind that partition. Where did he put his phone?
I think it was kind of to the left
Like
of the
right,
pole. Yes,
right down there? Okay. And he put his camera on so that you could see the image that it was pointing at?
yes.
And he said to you what?
He kind of mouthed, "Is he still there?"
And what did you say?
I couldn't tell.
Okay, so what did he do?
He kind of bent his head over to see his feet, and then he mouthed to me that he's still there.
Okay. And then what happened?
We just stayed quiet.
How long was it?
I don't know exactly, but it felt like forever.
And at some point, the shooter came back into the stall, correct?
Yes,
Keegan, both times when you saw him, did he have a gun?
yes,
Was he nervous? Did he seem nervous?
no,
Did he seem panicked?
No.
Did he seem emotional?
No.
Was he crying?
No.
Were you or Justin aggressive in any way?
No.
Were you trying to defend yourself?
No.
Did you ever put your hands on him?
No.
Did you ever lunge toward him?
No.
How would you describe his demeanor, what he seemed like?
kind of blank, kind of cold.
He comes back in the stall. And what does he do, Keegan?
He told me to stay put and for Justin to come out with him.
And what did Justin do?
He went out with him.
Okay. Did the door close at that point?
No.
So the stall's open. The door,
Yes.
and you're still on the toilet crouching.
Yes.
Okay. And what happens next, Keegan?
It was quiet for a second and then I heard a shot.
And what did that sound like?
It's extremely loud.
At this point, it was 2 or 3 feet away from you?
Yes.
Okay. Keegan, what did you think when that happened?
I kind of didn't know what to think. My mind wasn't really believing that it happened.
How long before you saw the shooter again?
Just, I don't know exactly, but it wasn't long after that shot. He came back in.
After he told Keegan told Justin to leave. Did you hear Justin say anything?
I don't remember.
Okay. But Justin did as he asked.
Yes,
He didn't try to struggle or fight.
no,
Okay. At some point, he comes back into the stall.
yes.
And what does he do?
He tells me to come out with him.
And how does he say it to you or does he motion you?
I think he motioned. I don't remember exactly.
Keegan, at some point, you looked at the shooter and said, please.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Do you remember when that was?
I think it was when me and Justin were just waiting in there.
He came in and you said, please.
Yes.
What did you mean?
I don't know. I was scared.
What did he do when he was in the stall? He motioned you out. And where was the gun?
On his side.
Okay. He's holding it down on his side.
Yes.
All right. And Keegan, what did you do after that?
I went out with him.
Okay. And what did he tell you to do anything?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. But to go over, he kind of signaled me to go over by Justin's body.
So let's talk about that. What did you see when you came out of the stall?
Justin's body in a pool of blood.
Was he laying face up or face down?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Do you remember where that blood was in relation to his body?
Around his head.
Okay. And the shooter tells you to do what?
Kind of signals me to go over by his body.
And what did you do?
When he moved the gun away from me, his side kind of, I ran behind his back and out the door.
Okay. Why did you do that?
Because I think when I saw his body, I realized that if I stayed, I was gonna die.
This is all happening between 12:59 and 1:01 when you finally texted your parents, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do after you ran? What did you see when you got outside?
I recall seeing another body with someone bent over it.
And where was that on the map, if we can pull that up?
I think it was around a corner just outside of the courtyard. Kind of over there.
Okay. Keegan, at some point, did you learn who that was?
Yes.
And who was it?
Tate.
And what did you do at this point?
I just kept running as fast as I could.
And what were you trying to do?
Make as many turns as I could so that if he was chasing me, I'd lose him.
Okay. And you eventually ended up in the office?
Yes.
And did you see anybody?
Yes.
What'd you see?
I ran and there was a officer with a gun who kind of guided me to go outside.
Did you do that?
Yes.
And how long were you outside, if you know?
Maybe a minute. It wasn't very long.
Okay, I want to go back to the text thread. So at 1:01, you texted, I just watched him kill someone. He put me up against the wall and I ran. I made it to the office. And that's at 1:03. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Above that, is that mom?
Yes.
Oh my God, Keegan, stay calm. Love you. Okay. Where were you at 1:03?
That was when I made it back to the office.
Okay, because somebody came out and got you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Keegan, I'd like to play the video surveillance of you leaving the bathroom and what happened after. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Mhm. Is that you, Keegan?
Yes.
And we
Up
say
at the
that,
top right,
thank you.
are you turning into the bathroom right now?
Yes.
Okay, so he has a backpack on and you had like red pajama bottoms?
Yes.
Why did you have pajama bottoms?
I don't know.
So you went into the bathroom. That's you going in, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And then we've cut images out and put together just images of you. Who is that, Keegan?
the shooter.
Okay. And he's going into the bathroom where you and Justin were?
Yes,
Now, this has collapsed the time because we know it was about 8 minutes you were in that bathroom.
yes,
You know who that student was?
no,
Okay. No, this is Kim Potts, who, did you know her at the time?
no,
Okay, she works for the school. She opened the bathroom door. I want to stop here for a second. The bathroom door, if you open it, you would see a wall, correct?
yes,
Okay, and then you have to turn another corner to see the photo that we showed you.
yes,
Okay. Does that make sense, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. Is that you, Keegan?
yes,
And you're running as fast as you possibly can?
yes,
And you didn't go the most direct way. Why is that?
to lose him, hopefully.
Did you know if he was behind you or not?
No,
Did you look to see?
no,
That you outside?
yes.
Do you remember what you saw when you went outside? What were you?
I don't know.
And that's Mr. Ejak?
Yes,
And he comes and gets you, right?
yes,
And then you go to the office,
yes,
and that's when you text your family.
yes.
How long were you in the office that day?
Hours,
And how did you get home?
the police drove me.
So much later, they drove you home?
Yeah,
Okay. Keegan, on that day, you said you didn't know Justin's name.
no,
Okay. And eventually, did you learn it?
yes.
And how did you learn it?
My friend sent me a photo and asked if that was him.
And you eventually learned that he was killed.
Yes,
And do you remember when you learned that?
a while later. I think my mom told me.
I've asked you before how you felt during that experience. And you said a lot of different things, but how can you sum up how you were feeling then
When exactly?
in the bathroom and trying to escape?
Oh, terrified, kind of blank. I remember I wasn't really able to breathe. I was kind of like hyperventilating, like scared.
I'm not going to ask you how you feel now or how long it took before you realized what had happened to you.
Okay.
Safe to say you were in shock for some time, correct?
Yeah, a long time.
Okay. And do you remember the first time you sort of broke down?
I think it was weeks after I saw a post about Justin and it kind of clicked.
And that day, when did you finally see your parents?
After the cops drove me home, my parents were there waiting for me.
All right. The last thing I'm going to ask you, Keegan, is you have a tattoo on your arm.
Yes,
Can you tell the court what it is?
it's the date in Roman numerals with 4 hearts for the lives lost, and then a red one with a halo for Justin.
And why is the one for Justin red with a halo?
Because I kind of thought of it as if he didn't die in there, then I'd be dead right now.
Nothing for that.
Thank you. Cross-examination, please keep the court's comments in mind.
Your Honor, we have no questions for Mr. Gregory and no objection to his being excused at this time.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. You may step down. That being said, we're going to take about a 10-minute break. With that being said, everyone in the courtroom could please remain seated while the deputies take the defendant back downstairs. Everyone in the courtroom, please remain seated until the defendant has exited the courtroom. Thank you. We'll take about a 10-minute break. Court stands in recess.
All rise.
Your Honor, calling People versus Ethan Crumbley, case number 2022-279-506 FC.
Thank you. Appearances.
Aaron McDonald on behalf of the people.
Thank you, Mark Keast on behalf of people. David Williams on behalf of the people.
Paul Mr.
Lofton on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Amy Happ on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Deborah H. McKelvey on behalf of Ethan Crumbley.
Thank you and good afternoon. Well, good morning again to all council. You may all be seated. With that being said, people, you may call your next witness.
The people called Christy Gibson Marshall.
Ma'am, you're going to walk to the witness stand. You're going to stand in the witness box, face my clerk to be sworn, please.
Raise your right hand. Under penalty of perjury, do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make to this court will be the whole truth? Thank you.
Thank you. And ma'am, if you could, please state your full name for the record and spell your last name.
Christy Gibson Marshall. GIBSON-MARSHALL.
Thank you. And you have a very light voice, sir. If you could, please keep your voice up for me so we can make sure that you're caught by our video recording system. With that being said, please speak like you're speaking to someone at the very back of the courtroom, okay? If you can.
Okay.
Thank you. People, your witness.
I think maybe your assistant principal voice is called for. Could you, is it okay if I call you Christy?
Yes, of course.
Christy, what do you do for a living?
I'm an assistant principal at Oxford High School.
Okay, you're gonna have to keep your voice up.
Okay.
Okay. You're an assistant principal at Oxford High School, correct? Okay.
Yes.
And how long have you held that position?
That position, I just finished my 5th year in that position.
Okay,
I've been in the district. I start my 29th year on Monday.
okay. And then I still can't quite hear you.
Okay,
Your 29th year?
on Monday I started. Yep.
Okay. And how long have you had a position in the high school?
5 years, this position, this assistant principal position. Years ago, I was a teacher there.
Okay. Where were you before you came to the high school?
I was an elementary principal.
I want to get this on the record as quick as we can and address it. You actually know the defendant, correct?
I do.
Okay. And you have known him for how long?
He was a student at my elementary school, Ethan was, and he transferred in about 3rd or 4th grade. Sorry, he transferred into Oxford schools about 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay. And over the years, how much interaction have you had with him?
Just hellos and hugs and stuff that I do with all the kids.
And what do you do with all the kids?
I try to bring a lot of energy to the building. So hellos, hugs, care about them, support them, do what I can to make sure that they're feeling okay.
Okay. And that's something you did in elementary school as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to take you to November 30th of 2021. That was the beginning of the school year. The first quarter, and the defendant was a student. He was a sophomore at the time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how much interaction had you had with him as the assistant principal of the high school, since he was in high school?
None, very little, just hellos or greetings.
Okay. And ever had any kind of conversation with him during high school?
Nothing beyond just greetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to interact with him from an administrative point of view, discipline, anything?
No.
Okay.
Excellent.
Ever met with his parents in the high school?
No.
Okay. So you were not called upon as an assistant principal to ever have an interaction with the defendant unless it was just the hellos and hugs?
Correct.
Okay. Around 12:30 on November 30th, where were you in the building, if you can remember?
I was in the cafeteria supervising lunches.
And is that the commons right up there?
Yeah, up there would be the commons.
Okay, is that something you do every day?
It's the most fun of the day because the kids are relaxing and it's a good time to interact and check in with them.
Okay. And at some point, did that lunch period end? Okay, and what did you do afterwards?
I walked down the, I don't even know what that hallway number is. I don't even know if it has a number, John Hill's hallway. Down towards the senior courtyard, senior window, to help supervise there. So I stopped about there on that corner. The senior window would be to my right.
What's the senior window?
Senior window is where the seniors hang out and chit chat. It's kind of like their space that is not infiltrated with any freshmen.
Okay,
And so therefore it's like their spot.
all right. And why do you hang out there, Christy?
Well, I go just to make sure that the kids can get through, because it is a big intersection of the building, so there's a lot of traffic there, so I will go and I call it a senior citizen window when I'm standing in there, and I try to move traffic through.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that where you were doing on that day?
I was heading that direction, yes.
Okay. At what point did you notice something was unusual?
A student went running by that I know pretty well, and he was yelling, "Get the hell out of here!" And I,
He was yelling, I'm sorry, what?
"Get the hell out of here!" And kind of caught my ear and didn't know what was happening. But then there were some other kids kind of rushing behind him. And so then I was asking what's going on, and they said, "We don't know." And they were laughing and running. So I didn't know what was happening at that point.
Did you think anything serious was happening?
Not with the first bunch of kids.
Okay.
No. I did get on my walkie and say, "There's a bunch of kids running. Do we have anything happening?" Just asking on the walkie.
Do you always carry the radio?
I try to always carry my radio, yes.
Okay, and who is connected by that radio?
There's several in the office, the counseling office, the main office, the principals, our TC, which is our teacher consultant, some of our social workers, some of our classrooms.
How many assistant principals are there?
There was 2 at the time, now there's 3.
And then is there also then a principal?
Yes,
Okay, and what's the principal's name at the time?
Steve Wolf.
Okay. So you radio and say, is there anything going on?
Yeah. Yes, just about after, almost immediately after I asked about the kids rushing, someone came over the PA system and said that we needed to implement Alice protocols.
Who was the person that made that announcement?
I believe it was Steve Wolf.
And when he says Alice protocols, did he say this is a drill or not a drill?
I don't remember.
Did you think it was a drill?
Based on what I was seeing, I knew something was happening.
Okay. What are you trained to do in Alice protocol, active shooter training?
So the alert would be the announcement. Students then go to lockdown as quick as possible, try to take cover.
And lockdown is behind a door, implementing the night lock, correct?
Putting the night lock in, barricading the door, creating a safe space, grabbing objects that you could counterattack with if you needed to.
And Chrissy, all the students get that training, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
So the defendant would have had that training.
yes,
So he would have known what kids were supposed to be doing.
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So do you want me to carry on with where we walked? Okay, so then.
I want you to say what you're
Always
trained,
supposed to
what you're
do.
trained to do.
So
And
then,
by no means do I mean that to say that you did anything wrong, but we will hear in a minute what you did do. But what are you assigned to do in that Alice protocol?
so in theory, once everybody gets to the rooms, then they would come over the PA system. Somebody would come over the PA system and inform us of what is either happening or what the next steps would be. So if they knew that if they had the situation contained, they would announce that and allow people to evacuate, or if people are aware that their area is safe, or they have an external window, they could exit.
Where are you supposed to go?
Me, I'm supposed to lock down in the, wherever I can lock down.
You're supposed to be behind a door with a night lock on it or something similar with a barricade.
Yes,
Okay. Is that what you did?
no,
What did you do?
I first checked the hallway that I always check. The 400 hallway is the hallway that I always check, and which is the one that goes, yeah, straight down that.
The record should reflect that she's pointing to on the map, the center hallway, which is what they call the 400.
Thank you. So reflected.
So I started to go down that hallway just to check to make sure everybody was locked down.
And were there kids in the hallway still, a bunch
Oh.
of kids?
No, when the Alice alert went, the hallways cleared just so fast.
Okay.
So I was the only one in that hallway, just walking and checking. A teacher did come out to lock his door. A student came up that was late and saying, "Is it a drill?" And I said, "It doesn't matter if it's a drill, just get in there and lock down, please." And so we got him in there, and then I started back down the hallway. I heard some gunshots, and so
What did you hear exactly? What did it sound like?
it sounded like two pieces of lumber being smacked together.
Did you recognize it immediately as a gunshot?
I don't remember how I process it, to be honest with you. Just because I know what I know now, I don't know.
Did you tell where it was coming from? Was it close? Was it far?
It was down towards the 200 hallway,
Okay,
and that's the big, circle at the
Yes.
bottom.
okay. And so you heard these two gunshots that you weren't sure were gunshots at this point, but and then
Yeah,
what did you do?
yes. And then I started to walk towards them because I needed to go find out. In my head, I needed to go help.
Okay, so
Um,
just to set the scene here, there's an active shooter protocol that's being implemented. You are supposed to lock down. Instead, you head down 400 and then you heard gunshots and you headed towards the gunshots.
Correct.
Okay. And what happened after that?
I could smell what I called cap gun. I didn't know it to be gun powder. I got on the walkie and I said to them that I heard some shots, and then shortly after I said that I could smell what smelled like cap gun.
Is anyone responding to you?
Kurt Noose responded to me first and asked where I was.
What did you say?
So then in the 200 hallway, he said that's a very big hallway. And I think he needed more direction. And so I let him know I was by the 400 hallway.
So is that dot right there about where you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And what could you see at that point?
When I turned the corner, I could see a student walking towards me.
You turned which corner?
I turned the corner and went to what would be my left, and
Okay.
you're right on this.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you saw somebody right there
Yeah.
or way
down
further down the
hallway.
hall.
Yeah, down the hallway.
And you move it down about where?
Probably by 218, room 218.
Okay. Did you recognize who the student was?
Not at that point, no.
Can you describe the student? What
Um,
did you see at that point?
I saw a student putting his arm down.
Down from like a shoulder length height
yeah,
position? Okay.
Yes, and then
What was the student wearing? Light clothes, dark clothes?
a hoodie, a hood was up. We were all in masks at that time. The hood was long, kind of down like around the knuckles, so I only could see a little bit of the gun.
So you could see a gun.
Yes.
And what did you do?
I got on the walkie and said that I have eyes on the shooter.
And then did someone respond to you?
I don't know. I don't remember. They probably did.
Okay. What did you do?
I kept walking towards him.
Okay. I have to ask, why did you walk towards the shooter?
I needed to help.
Okay. And what did you see?
There was a student on the ground.
Laying on the ground? Okay. And is that red dot about where that student was?
Yes.
Did you know who the student was?
No, sorry, no.
So what did you do?
So there was a garbage can between me and the student. I moved the garbage can out of the way.
And at this point, where is the person with the gun?
Just up ahead a little bit,
Was he walking towards you or walking away?
walking towards me.
At some point, did he pass by you?
When he got closer, I realized it was Ethan. And I just thought it couldn't be Ethan. He wouldn't do that. And so I talked to him.
What did you say?
Said, "Are you okay? And what's going on?"
At this point, were you processing that he had used the gun and shot other people or could have?
Initially, I thought there's no way it could be him. So I didn't know if maybe he recovered it. And so that's why I talked to him.
I mean, picked it up off the ground? Okay, when he was close enough to see who he was, can you describe what his demeanor was?
When I started talking to him, he looked away from me, but kept walking. He just walked past me.
Was he walking in a frantic, panicked way?
He was very calm.
Did he speak to you?
He didn't speak to me. And that's when I figured something was really wrong, because I feel like he would have told me what was going on.
He walked past you, correct?
He walked past me.
Did he point the gun at you?
Not that I saw.
Okay. What did you do when he walked past you?
I turned to walk with him for a second, and that's when I was talking to him. And then I had to get back to the student who was on the ground
That was
because,
your focus?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
we're gonna play a video. What you just described,
Or playing
and
that.
the video cannot be viewed, Your Honor. It's
Thank you. And the cameraman is indicating that he's not recording this. Before you play this video, again, if there's anyone in the courtroom that wishes to step out at this time, please feel free to step out at this time. Thank you. People, you may proceed.
Let us know when you're in the image, please.
I'm in the image there at the end of the left side of the screen. At a
You're wearing
basket.
a
Yellow. Yeah,
gold jacket.
yeah.
And is this where a student came running by and said, "Get the hell out of here"?
Yeah, that's the location I was in when he did.
Okay, let us know when you see that person.
Okay. Right there, there's the student who said it, and then.
And those are students running, correct?
Correct. And then I stopped some students to see what was going on there, and they told me they didn't know. That's when I said there's kids walking in the hall or running in the hallway.
Okay,
And this is after the Alice, they called the Alice protocol somewhere in there. So then I went down this hallway, letting them know what I was seeing.
okay. Is that the defendant? Okay.
Yes.
And can you see him at this point? Where are you?
I was at the top of the hallway. I didn't.
Is that
see him.
you?
That is me.
Okay. But you hadn't seen him at this point? Okay.
begin with. Another teacher didn't have their door closed. I was checking to close their door. And now I'm coming down to make the turn. This is when I said I smelled gunfire. Yeah, one. And you'll see me pause at some point here, because that's when I see Ethan right there.
Is that when you,
That's that when I stepped aside, that's when I saw him.
is that when you radioed, you have eyes on the shooter?
Yes.
Is that a yes? Okay. What are we looking at here?
That's the student.
Okay. And where is the defendant at this point?
Down the hallway ahead of us.
Okay. We're gonna continue to play this. That's you moving the trash can to get to that student?
Yeah, and I nudged him with my foot to just tell him to stay there.
Are you talking to him at this point?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that the defendant?
That's Ethan. Yes.
And he's got the gun in his hand?
Yes.
And that's when you say to him, what's going on?
Yes. And then I walk and I'm talking on the walkie and saying he just walked past me. I walked for a little bit and then I lost him. And then I was too far away from the student. And so then I went to the student.
Okay.
And this is when
Okay, Christy. You don't know where the shooter is at this point?
he's behind me.
Okay. And you don't know the state of the student on the ground?
No,
And you don't know who it is?
no.
Quickly, though, you realized who it is. Can you tell the court what happened?
I rolled the student over and it was Tate Muir.
And how did you know Tate?
I had Tate and his brothers from elementary school all the way through high school. I've known Tate since he was about 3.
How could you have known him since he was 3?
His brothers were in my school, his older brothers, and so he was coming to school with mom. Mom was involved in our PTO.
And what was that like for you?
We could take a moment, please. When you're ready, ma'am, please let us know.
It was crushing. I had to help him. I just needed to save him for his mom.
How did you try to help him? Did you see that he was wounded anywhere?
Yeah, I could feel the entrance wound in the back of his head. I could see that the bullet had exited through his eye. When I put my hand down on the ground, I put my hand in what would have been his eyeball. I immediately started to take his pulse and check his vitals as best as I could. And then
At some point, you were trying to get his backpack off, correct?
I was trying to get his backpack off, but he's a big dude and I couldn't get it off of him. He's so heavy and I was unable to move him.
He was athletic and
Very strong. Yeah.
at some point you did begin giving him life-saving breaths, correct?
I did.
Okay. Were you radioing to anybody trying to get help?
I was, and Kurt News came
Okay.
immediately, really shortly after me starting to get there, and he helped me get the backpack off.
Did you see anything else going on while you were doing this?
No, at that point, I was just focused on tape.
When you started giving him breaths, did were you making any, did you feel like you were helping him?
I just kept talking to him,
And what were you saying?
that I love him, that I needed him to hang with me.
See, what color was he?
It was blue. But when I was giving him breaths, he was getting lighter, so I just thought they were helping. So I kept giving the breaths.
How long did you do that?
Felt like forever, until they took him away from me. And then when they took him away from me, I was telling him to keep giving him breaths. He needs air. I could taste his blood. So much blood. It was all over me. Took me a long time, months. Probably almost a year to get the taste of Tate's blood out of my mouth.
Christy, did you see the defendant after that?
He, at some point while I was giving breaths, the police had arrived and he came out with his hands up and he was on his knees. With his hands up. And they were trying to figure out who he was. And he didn't answer them. I don't think he answered them when he said his name or they asked for his name. And so I got up from Tate to run over and say, his name's Ethan. And then I ran back to Tate because I didn't want to leave Tate for too long.
The tape, you think, recognize your voice? Do you have any?
I hope so. I don't know. He didn't give me any response. There was no response from him. I called for an AED. They brought me one. He had a pulse, so I just kept giving breaths.
And you could get his color to change with each breath?
To about a gray.
After he was taken away, or they took him to get help, correct?
They did it after Ethan was secured. They took Tate. And like
How
I
long
said,
were you at that school that day?
10:30 at night. I don't know. I couldn't leave.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
I have no questions for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, ma'am, thank you for being here. You may be excused and you may also leave the courthouse.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, it's almost noon. At this time, we're going to break for lunch. We will return at 12:40 p.m. I do need everyone to be seated so that the deputies can take the defendant out of the courtroom.
One final thing, the people rest.
Okay, people rest. Thank you. And so when we come back, defense, I will then hear your case in chief.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, I do need everyone to be seated so the defendant can exit the courtroom.
May we briefly approach one?
Yes.